Hello, ladies and gentlemen, Gabester here. This is a Brawlers Guild guide for the Bear and the Lady Fair, which is a challenge card rank 7 fight against Argh and Raaaargh, the poor little bear fellow. So this is kind of a gimmicky fight, but to get access to the challenge card, there are reportedly a number of ways to get it. The way I got it was from the random scenario cache, just from doing a random scenario, not the daily heroic, but just the regular, queue up as many times as you want one. So I just did it a whole bunch of times and eventually it dropped. That's pretty much my tip as far as getting it. So for the fight mechanics, let's just get started and go through the basics. So as you begin, you'll see that you are facing Argh, who stands up on this wooden platform, and then Raaaargh, the bear, who's chasing you around the whole time. Now, if you have any form of CC, apparently you can CC the bear throughout the fight. So, or you can have it, tanked by a pet if you have one of those or whatnot, or you can just let it beat on you. It does around 40 to 50,000 damage on average every time it attacks you, and it'll use Maul from that attack. But for the most part, you're pretty much ignoring the bear because the goal here is to kill Argh on the platform before you run out of time. So to help you do this, especially if you're melee, to get up to his position, you have to bounce off the 3 trampolines around the room. And these trampolines basically work by stepping on them. You will automatically fly straight toward whatever direction you happen to be looking when you initially bounce off them. So you cannot change your trajectory, I can't speak, once you've started to fly. So the best thing to do is to aim yourself in the direction that you want to go before you actually land on a trampoline, and then you will automatically be going in that direction once you land and you start to travel. Now, each time you land on a trampoline, you gain a very short duration buff called bounce. After you bounce 3 times, so if you hit all 3 trampolines, you'll gain a 6-second buff called critical bounce. And this will make your hands glow fiery. This will guarantee that your next attack is a critical strike, and that attack will do 300% extra damage. So, this basic goal here is to bounce off the trampolines 3 times to get that stack up to 3, give you the critical buff, and then you use your most powerful attack, your single most powerful attack on Argh while that crit and damage increase buff is active. The buff will go away as soon as you do one hit, but you should do quite a bit of damage to him. And this will depend greatly, again, on your class and spec, what attack you want to use. So as a windwalker monk, I used Rising Sun Kick, for example, which is my strongest single target attack, one-off that I have. So it should be worth noting that for players with dots, especially dot classes, the full duration of your dot will be boosted by the 300% damage and crit buff. So if you're like a feral druid, you might use Rip at 5 combo points to take advantage of that buff. Or, a warlock would use your strongest dot, shadow priest, moonkin, all that stuff. So yeah, dots are the way to go if you have them, to take full advantage of that, because you're not going to be able to spend much time on the platform if you're a melee attacking the boss. Now, if you're not a melee, this fight is a fair bit easier. You can attack Argh while you're down below without much trouble, but you still want to take advantage of the bouncing buff usually. So the best thing you can do really is to bounce yourself 3 times. You don't have to land on the platform, of course. So once you get the damage and crit buff, then again cast your strongest spell, dot or otherwise, and then just proceed with normal damage while you're bouncing some more to get another 3 stack and do the same thing again. And that's just pretty much it. Repeat that process until he drops. So he doesn't have a whole lot of health, but obviously, especially if you're melee, you don't get a lot of chance to attack him. Now, if you're on the platform, he will constantly try to cast his ability called Slap. And when he finishes his cast, you'll be knocked off the platform. So as a melee, to stay on the platform longer, you should use stuns that will prevent him from casting, and therefore you can stay on the platform longer. So I don't have very many stuns I can do back to back. I basically have a talent stun, and then I have a 15-second cooldown rotation ability that's also a stun. So sometimes I'd be able to do 2 stuns and stay up there for maybe 10 extra seconds, but other times not at all. So again, just take advantage of that. Now you'll see that I messed up one of the jumps throughout this fight because I wasn't quite looking in the right direction when I bounced off the trampoline. So I missed the platform, and that wasted a lot of time. So at the end, I get really close to hitting the berserk. But that's just a mistake that can be improved upon. I didn't really play perfectly. I think this was the second time I tried it. So yeah, there's a lot of things you can do to improve. But the basic goal is to take advantage of that 3-stack, use your cooldowns, and use that big burst of damage to do as much as you can while all your potions and your procs are all activated as well. And otherwise, just CC or ignore the bear, and eventually you'll get Argh down. So that is the bear and the lady fair. Good luck, and thanks for watching.